On today's special Thanksgiving episode of The Aimless Cook, we're going to take some traditional Thanksgiving flavors like turkey, cranberries, and mashed potatoes, and we're going to present them in an entirely new way with some Japanese fusion. So we're going to make some broiled yakitori using some fresh quail, and then we're going to make a potato korokke, which is a croquette made of mashed potatoes, and they're panko breaded and fried until golden crispy. We're going to put some cheese in the middle, and we're also going to put some ground turkey and cranberries. So we're going to get all the traditional flavors in there. New presentation. So if you're ready, let's get to work. Okay, let's start by making the potatoes for a korokke. I got 4 medium yellow potatoes that I peeled, and I'm going to boil them until fork tender. Then I'm going to drain them. I'm going to toss them over the heat until they become fluffy. This is going to get rid of the excess moisture. From there, I'm going to season with salt and freshly cracked black pepper, and then I'm going to put in a healthy knob of butter, and we're going to mash it until smooth. Then we're going to set it aside and start with our turkey. On a lightly oiled skillet over medium heat, I'm going to put my ground turkey. There's about a half a pound of ground turkey and about a 1/4 cup of dried cranberries that I had chopped up earlier into fine pieces. Now for seasoning, you could do something simple. You can use some sage, or in this case I'm going to use some Back Eddys. This is a seasoning that comes from Hay River in the Northwest Territories. Season well and then cook until your turkey is done. After that, we're just going to combine it with our potatoes and gently fold them in until they're all incorporated, and then we're going to set our potatoes aside in the fridge to cool for about half an hour. Now while our potatoes are in the fridge, let's start on the marinade for our yakitori. We're going to do that with a mixing bowl, and we're going to start with a tablespoon of sesame oil and a tablespoon of soy sauce. To that, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of mirin, a teaspoon of minced ginger, and a clove of minced garlic. Let's prep our birds. I got some quail here, and what I'm going to do is we're just going to prep them with some kitchen shears and get them ready for the skewers. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the first 2 joints of the wings. There's not much there. And then I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to cut on each side of the backbone. I'm going to take the backbone completely out, and I'm going to turn this thing around, and then I'm going to use the shears again and cut along the middle of the breastbone until I have 2 perfect halves. Once the birds are prepped, I'm going to put them into a big freezer lock bag, and I'm going to pour the marinade in there, and we're just going to keep it in the fridge for about an hour. By now our potatoes are cool enough to work with, so let's take them out of the fridge. I'm going to get my scoop here, and I'm just going to put a small amount in my palm, followed by some shredded Gruyere cheese. I'm going to top that with another layer of the potato until I make a patty. Now I'm just going to keep going like this and make some patties, and then I'm going to start dredging and frying. Now with a pot of oil on the stove heating to about 375, I'm going to start dredging my korokke. And I got the standard station set up here with some all-purpose flour, followed by some eggs, followed by our panko. So we're just going to go in that order, each one, until everyone is breaded and ready to go. Now let's get back to our quail. I got our halves here, which have been marinating for about an hour. And I'm going to take them here, and I'm going to put a pre-soaked skewers. You got to soak them for about half an hour at least so they don't burn in the broiler. And you got to push them through the meatiest parts of the thigh and the breast. I got my oven preheated to the highest setting on the broiler. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of my quails on a broiling rack, and I'm going to put them under for about 10 minutes, turning them over halfway. This is going to cook really quick, so you got to watch them. You see? Told you. Okay, back to our korokke. With our oil preheated to about 375, we're going to lower this gently with a slotted spoon because we don't want to be splashing all over the place. And we're going to cook this until golden brown, which should only take a few minutes. Now this ain't a Thanksgiving meal without gravy, so what I'm going to show you is how to make a really quick miso gravy that you can use on almost anything. So we're going to start with a skillet with 2 cups of hot water. And with that, we're going to whisk in 2 tablespoons of miso, followed by a tablespoon of prepared mustard or Dijon mustard, with about a dash of sesame oil and soy sauce. And what we're going to do is we're going to whisk that until very smooth. And once that's very smooth and you got that mixture simmering, we're just going to add a little bit of flour water mixture, and then we're going to thicken until it's done. It's that easy. So that is it. Traditional Thanksgiving flavors with a Japanese twist, definitely. So take this recipe, make it yours, and have a great holiday. For this and more great recipes, visit us at www.theaimlesscook.com and subscribe. So let me know in the comments down below how you make this Thanksgiving special.
Sending it out.